Hello, ladies. To speaker, here we go. 1 second, I have some questions. People are not able to come in. Is there a meeting ID? When do we ever have a meeting ID? Guys, is there a meeting ID?
Yes, Shadana. Hi.
Hi.
It's 744-500.
Okay, let me add it to the group. 744-500. 744-500. And Besma. Anybody else? Besma's got it. Dina. Okay, that should be all. All right. Nina's there. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
All right. I know Basma's trying to come in. Hmm. Okay. Hello, ladies. How's everybody doing? So nice to be back on the same time zone with most of you. Thing.
I agree.
Fruit detox. I have to say, I'm on the doing the detox myself, but I'm just saying I am amazed, amazed, amazed at the number of you who are still going, still on it. It's not easy, but it is one of those things when there's sort of it's like a, it's like a hump, get that, like a peak of where you feel like you just can't do it anymore. But when you reach that and you're able to get to the other side, it's where everything starts to change. And it's literally where all the magic happens. I know some of you who started are either on day 17 or day 18 by now. If you started on the Thursday when I said, then this Thursday you would have completed 3 weeks. So I know I said, let's push for a month, push yourself to go for a month. And if you can, I'm still going to recommend that. ML day 19, amazing, ML. Woohoo! I mean, you can only, the only thing that can happen the longer you do this is that the deeper you go with the healing. And the more healing there is, the better you will feel, the quicker you will reverse your symptoms. I always tell you, I can never tell you how long it will take for you to feel a shift in your symptoms, to feel a complete reversal in your symptoms, but you can. You just have to trust the process. I just can't tell you how long. 2 months, 3 months, but every single one of your symptoms, ladies, that you all listed in the group, there isn't a single one, not one, that can't be reversed 100% naturally. Detoxing with fruits is one way of doing it. It is one level of detoxing. It is one intensity. You can slow it down, you can speed it up. I don't know where Delia is. She sent me a message. She wants to do a juicing only. She wants to just do juice for 1 week. That's taking it a step up. You will reverse eating this way. You just have to trust it. But there is also, in terms of physical sustainability, yes, your body can live like this while you are healing. Do we need to live like this forever? No. This is a healing protocol. Is it a means to an end? Eating in terms of whether you're going to add in animal protein or whether you're going to add in vegetables, this is how we want to eat in our day to day when we're healed. We're using a fruit detox to speed up any healing that needs to happen. This is not, unless you want to, how you need to live for the rest of your life. Those of you who are worried or concerned, whether about, um, um, am I going to be deficient in certain minerals or vitamins or nutrients? No, you won't be. Can you sustain it psychologically? Emotionally, that's really the question. Can you sustain it living in a society, living with your social lives, living with your families? That's really the question. It's never a question of can my body sustain this, especially if you're not healed yet. As long as you're experiencing symptoms, then yeah, your body actually needs this to heal. And then once it's healed and you are it's not the day after you heal where you're going to go back to how you're eating or start to introduce things. You need to allow the healing to sort of anchor in, and then you can start to shift it a bit and bring in the other foods. As long as we're always under that umbrella of natural whole foods, you can't go wrong. But let's be super honest with each other, ladies. The fact that all of you after having done my program once, twice, maybe more, still had a list of symptoms means on some level you reintroduce something on a regular basis that wasn't serving you. That, maybe you brought in coffee on a regular basis again. Maybe you decided, I really miss my bread, and everybody says sourdough is okay to eat. So you brought in sourdough every day a little bit. Maybe you decided that, it's okay. So what if I have a pasta or rice or something once or twice a week? And then that became two, three, four times. Maybe something happened in your life. It just became too stressful. You're eating one way, your family's eating another way. You got fed up of having to make two different meals a day. So you said, enough. I'm just eating whatever my family's eating. So you're full on eating, macarona au pane and all the things again. It happens. It happens. And if you have any of these symptoms, then on some level, you brought some of these elements back into your body on a regular basis. So we want to once and for all, ladies, because some of you have been with me for what? 8 years? 9 years? How long? Some of you. Rania, Emel, Basma. Some of you. Nihad, 5 years at least. At least. Okay. We're not getting any younger. And bouncing back, it's not quite a bounce back anymore, is it? When we do these things, right? For whatever reason. And it is time to take stock, and it's time to take a stand. How many times are you going to let yourself go back into a long-term backtrack? Okay. I'm not talking about when you go out or it's an occasion or you go on vacation or you invite people over to your house and you have leftovers at home. So you wake up and eat the leftovers for a couple of days. I'm talking about when the lifestyle really shifts back to what it is you were trying to shift from to start with. How many more times can you let it do that? We're in our 50s now, most of us. And this is when if we haven't before, and I keep reminding you always, if you haven't and you're not thinking about your future self, or if you did and you forgot about her, this is the time to bring her back, that vision of your future self, because you are going to create her. She's not going to happen by accident. She's not going to happen because of bad luck. Genetics may play a small part of it, but we all know what the saying about genetics. It's a loaded gun. It doesn't go off except for how you trigger it with your lifestyle. So whatever it is you wish to be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you need to be creating her physically and emotionally and mentally right now. So take stock of this right now. How much longer can we keep using the same excuses of it's too stressful, it takes too much time, people criticize me, I can't make two different meals at the expense of your own health? Whatever the reason is for you. Life is always going to be throwing curveballs at you. Things that you have no idea are going to come at you are going to come at you. So at least you have your foundation set. So when there is a little bit of a curveball, you curve with it, but you come back. Don't let the curve become your lifestyle. Don't let the temporary setback become the foundation for who you're going to be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So continuously ask yourself the better questions. When you say, can I sustain eating fruits? The real and the better question is, can you sustain your symptoms? Can you
انا
sustain
بره يا عماد.
not being able
رنيت عليك.
to get out of bed comfortably? Can you sustain not having energy to do all the things you want to do every single day? Can you sustain pain? Those are the better questions to ask yourself. Can you sustain potentially because we know you can reverse it all naturally, if you let go of whatever it is, conditions, symptoms you've got that might eventually need at some point, because it's too late, can you sustain medical intervention? Maybe drastic medical intervention, maybe surgery. Ask yourselves the better questions. Everything that you're doing here is a mindset. Whether you think you can, you know that saying. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, both are true because you're thinking it, not because the actual thing you're trying to do is difficult or easy. It's how you are thinking about it, it's how you are perceiving it. So, as difficult and as challenging as this was, and maybe still is, think about the future. Think about your future self. Think about, am I able to live my life fully? We all have a checklist every day, right? We all have a checklist of things we need to do, things we have to do for ourselves, for our family, for work, for parents, for everybody. Things we have to do, things we should do. Then we also have that list of things we would love to do and things we dream about. Are you able to go through your list and tick it off every day? Everybody's list is going to be a bit different. But are you able to go through your list and say, I got up, I was able to work out, I went to work, I had a great day at work despite all the stress. I came back, I made a meal for my family, I spent time with my family, I went out for a walk, I came back and I did some reading, I went to sleep and had a very, very deep night of sleep uninterrupted. Whatever your list is, are you able to get through it and you feel so happy and so fulfilled at the end of your day going to sleep that you've accomplished, let's say, 90% of what you wanted to accomplish that day? And you're ready and excited to wake up the next day and go through it all over again. That's what life is about. It's not about, because people always send me messages like, well, what's the point of doing all this? I just want to enjoy my life. We're all going to die anyway. I want to enjoy everything. Well, yes, we're all going to die anyway. And like, it's not going to change. And people will send me those funny memes of like, it shows you like, somebody sent me this really funny thing. It was like a tombstone and it said, ate veggies, drank water, exercised every day, died anyway. You know, it's like you're really missing the point. We're not going to change, when we die necessarily. It's not about that. We're not going to prolong life. I think we all are of the same faith that, you're going to die when you're going to die. That's not going to change that, what we're doing. What you're going to change is the quality of every single day of your life until God, whenever God wants that day for you to happen. We're not changing that day. And how can you enjoy life? When people say, but I want to enjoy my life, I don't want to take anything away from my life. But if you're not able to do all the things you want to do, isn't that the real deprivation? If you're too tired, I'm not even going to look at like conditions. I'm not even going to look at like autoimmune, heart disease, autoimmune, the bigger issues that women have, fibroids. Not even going to look at that. Let's just take a very basic symptom, which is fatigue. Fatigue. You're not medically ill, you're just always tired every single day. you wake up and you barely have enough energy to do anything. And you have to muster up a lot of energy or drink a lot of coffee to be able just to do the bare basics every single day. Not a medical condition, but what's the quality of your life? If you're always too tired to do the basics, that you can't even get to the things that bring you joy. You can't even get to your passions or your joys. You can't even get to quality time with your loved ones because you're just too tired to even do ABC every single day. And then that becomes your day to day. That becomes your week to week. That becomes your month to month, year to year. That becomes your life. So today, what I want you to do, ladies, and this week I didn't give you anything new. And until the end of the program, I'll be giving you one sort of what I call, integration week after every 3 weeks of modules. Think about that this week. Go back if you had that vision of your future self before. If you didn't, then go and create her again of how you want to be. How do you want to be as a grandmother, ladies? It's a lot of work. You thought it was hard when we were in our 20s and 30s having a baby? It's a lot of work. And do you want to be a grandmother who, when your daughter needs help, you can't stay up with her, you can't take care of the baby for her, you can't take over for a day or two. And when the baby gets older, you can't run around with the baby, you can't go swimming with the baby, you can't play outside with the baby. Let me tell you, ladies, a grandchild is everything you've heard and more. Everything they've ever told you about becoming a grandmother is not true. It's more. And you don't want to miss out on a single minute of that if you can. But we will if we don't have the simple energy. So I want you to think about that today. I want you to revisit that future vision for yourself today. And when you find yourself struggling, and you will, because nobody ever said this is an easy process. It's simple, but not easy. When you find yourself challenged, when you find yourself resistant, when you find yourself questioning, when you find yourself swirling with a ton of information around you, remind yourself of your future you. Nobody's going to create her for you. She's 100% your responsibility only. All right? Having said that, all of you want to know, so what happens after the fruits, or what happens if we can just transition a little bit away from fruits? First thing you need to know is you don't need to. So in terms of nutrients, deficiencies, all of that, all of you around day 18, if you started from the very beginning, day 17, 18, 19, if you're in your third week, you can easily do this for another month or two if you choose. And even if you continued, I mean, there are people who live like this now, right? There's no deficiencies there because you're getting the most potent forms of live vitamins and minerals and enzymes and antioxidants that exist. But like I said, most people don't want to, and in all fairness, I have to say, the few people that I know who truly live like this, they literally live out in a tropical forest. So they don't live in a city. They don't live with families. They don't live in societies. They literally live in Hawaii, in the tropics, in the middle of the lushness where the fruits and things grow in their garden, and this is how they live. Other people make it work by bringing in some vegetables. If you're ready to do that, if you want to do that, if you need to do that, I would say keep as many of your meals during the day fruit-based, so breakfast, lunch, and snacks, and then make your dinner meal your cooked vegetable meal. So potatoes, you want to bring in some broccoli. Broccoli is always great. Any of the mix of vegetables that we did in the hormone detox, you can do that for dinner if you're ready to do that now. And have soup. And keep doing that for a while because you still want to keep detoxing. And this is always going to be the best time to do that. Springtime and into summertime, the easiest time to do fruits and vegetables and the easiest time to do raw. And we want to get as much raw as possible because again, it's the most potent when it comes to healing. That's all I'm going to say because we're not going to transition into animal protein just yet. So if you need vegetables, make one meal, a proper meal, right? So you don't just need like one potato or one, have a proper meal of cooked vegetables at the end of your day. I would just sort of warn that you don't make it a very big meal. So have the bulk of your intake in terms of quantity, your fruits, and then have that one meal at the end of the day, but don't make it a huge meal. A normal size serving of potatoes, broccoli, asparagus. You can obviously also have salad with it if you want, um, and no later than 6 or 7 p.m. Hello, ladies. Any questions? Obviously, if you want to go deeper, you can also go deeper. You can do a juice detox. You can just juice if you feel compelled to do so. You can do a week of juicing. You can do 2 weeks of juicing. You can do a month of juicing. If you've really gone into it and really want to take it to the next level, that's a deeper level. You want to slow it down a bit. Then you add in a meal of cooked potatoes and vegetables. You want to keep it right where you're at. Do your fruits. You want to if you find at some point, because sometimes it doesn't always happen at the beginning, usually, but sometimes it can recur. If you're finding detox withdrawal symptoms coming on, so that's what happened to me on day 3. I got very strong detox withdrawal symptoms that I haven't had in a very long time. Very, very severe nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. It was one of those like 6 hour bouts. So the next day I did slow it down for myself. The next day I did add some potatoes. I didn't want to go through that again. I was still jet lagged. I'd only been home not even a week. So I slowed it down. So listen to your body. And then I felt like I got past it and then I went back. So always listen to your body. And if you do find yourself going through a bout of detox withdrawal, and that's all it is every single time, is the body, sort of latching on to like a bunch of toxins and needing to get rid of them. And then it settles and then it goes a bit, deeper layers of detoxing. And then it might find another batch of toxins and then it needs to expel them. So that can show up as vomiting, as diarrhea, can show up as, as ML was experiencing, it can show up as headaches, runny nose, coughing, fever, body aches. Anytime the body does that, that is nothing but the body healing. Those are signs of healing. The body knows what to do. They're not signs of the body breaking down. They're not signs of illness or sickness. They're not symptoms that you need to suppress. So you wouldn't go and take like a fever reducer or pain killer or anything, because what you will do if you do that is you're going to interrupt the healing process, and whatever toxicity the body's trying to get rid of, you'll just suppress back down, and then it will have to resurface again sooner or later. So support your body through this process. Uncomfortable, of course, incredibly uncomfortable. But it's also empowering to know that your body knows what it's doing and that all it really needs you to do is just sit back and sleep as much as you can. Hot lemon, ginger, things like that. If you have body aches, if you have runny nose, things like that. If you have what I had, diarrhea and vomiting, I tried the oils, I tried the castor oil. It was only very, very temporary relief. My body just needed to let go what it needed to let go of. So it was a very, very uncomfortable 6 hours. But it's that moment, right, where you break down and then it's a breakthrough afterwards. So I think I'd mentioned to you guys that my last period when I was in Tokyo lasted 14 days. So that's how disrupted and imbalanced my system was. I got my period on day 4, which was Friday, and it lasted the 4 days and it finished on time. So it was a quick, for me, I have to say this was a uh quick reversal. But it's not always going to be this quick, like I'm saying. Other things are taking longer to come back. So you need to be patient with the process. You need to not fear the symptoms because they're not symptoms of weakness. They're not symptoms of you breaking down. They're symptoms that the body is working really, really hard with you to heal you. Rania, juicing, fruits and veg or only fruit? Most juice detoxes are a combination. the juices are a combination of both fruits and veggies. Yeah.
So, Donna, just to clarify,
Yeah.
basically, we're going to continue on this program for a little while, as long as we can, and so on. I've been juicing more than eating fruits. I find it a lot easier for me to just put everything in the blender, juice it, and just have it and go.
Yeah.
But then I've been also doing like you're saying, the last meal mainly salad,
Okay.
veggies, basically potatoes. And now you're including the asparagus and the broccoli. I would love to have that.
Yeah.
And I've been also adding avocado to my salads.
Okay.
Maybe after that, I have a fruit in the end before I sleep because I tend to sleep late. So I get hungry. So then I have a fruit or something.
Okay.
The other thing is that I'm craving nuts like crazy.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why,
Yeah.
but right now, like for me, like if you give me a peanut or a cashew nut or a
Yeah.
pistachio, I'm just like so thrilled, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Is it possible to maybe add one or two?
Go ahead. You're craving the salty, right? That's the
Yeah,
salt. Okay. You're craving something salty, maybe something more crunchy, depending on what kind of fruits you're
and
having.
fat, right?
Yeah.
Because
But well, if
oil
you're having avocado, if you're having
isn't it?
yeah,
Okay, I
avocado,
have one a day.
yeah, that's plenty of fat. That's like your, total
Okay.
fat intake for the day. So
Okay.
I'm gonna say it's the salt. Some nuts, like cashews, for example, could be if you're craving those specifically. Cashews are full of magnesium, so that
Okay.
could be a need for magnesium. Um,
Yeah.
but definitely, I would say have one type, no peanuts, because peanuts are full of the mold, aflatoxin, and stuff.
Forget it.
Um,
Yeah.
Choose one, okay,
Uh-huh.
have a few and see what happens because you've cleared your body to a degree now where it would react or not to
Uh-huh.
so try it and see.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let's say like sometimes it happens that you have or one day off, not one day, just one meal
Yeah.
off,
Yeah.
basically, right? I have my parents around or I'm going out with my kids or whatever. I take a salad, but then maybe I take two shrimps next to it
That's
or a
okay.
lobster tail because it's lobster season.
Yeah. See, that's what I mean. Like it's not those little things, right? This is not you like backtracking. This is not
Okay,
going off track. And you're not doing it like you said, it's just once. It's a part of
exactly.
the meal, right? You're very conscious of what you're putting into your body. So, and
Right.
even when you decide, right, I feel really great. I don't need to be eating just fruits and vegetables anymore. I feel like adding in more animal protein. That's still with
Right.
whole foods. That's still even the nuts, right? You're still within the category of whole foods that we're meant to eat. Like
Yeah.
historically, we've eaten these foods. We're not removing animal protein or nuts or things like this. I mean, there's the obvious list that we're removing that are highly
Yeah.
inflammatory. But within the
Exactly.
whole foods category, remember these foods have become problematic. They weren't problematic 500 years ago, right?
Mhm.
And historically speaking, humans have always eaten animal protein,
Right.
religiously speaking, we know they're included in all, we eat animal protein. The reason though we sort of are obliged or like we have to remove them when there's illness is because of other things we've eaten that are not part of nature that we have
Right.
not evolved to eat with at all that have compromised our systems created disease where then your body has issues breaking down and absorbing and making use of even things that are in nature. I mean, how many of you ate broccoli and even the fruits and get bloated and get discomfort?
Yeah.
Shows us to what extent internally your system is imbalanced. So
Mhm.
we need to remove them to create space for rebalancing.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what we're doing now. We're rebalancing, unless, of course, like I keep saying, you choose to eat like this for the rest of your life. That's your choice. But you don't have to stay healthy and disease-free and symptom-free. So
Mhm.
when you go and have a little shrimp in the middle of all this, okay, a piece of shrimp, or you go one day and you have a whole lobster tail, okay, Does that slow down the deep detox? Yes. But does that throw everything away for you? And does that take you on a tangent where you're not healthy anymore and you're going to develop an illness? No, of course not.
Okay.
Okay.
And just I wanted to add, like I was late because I had a doctor's appointment. I had problems with my wrists here. They get inflamed, they get swollen. I have severe pain in my wrists in this part. And today when he was like checking me, he's like, it feels different. I go, well, he goes, what have you done? I go, it's been 18 days. I've changed my diet. And he's like, well, I'm very curious. I'm gonna do you an MRI because I need to see what's going on, you know? I
Oh,
go, I still feel the pain. It's not as much, the pinch is not as much. My swelling in my wrists here are a lot less.
yeah.
So it's like, I'm very intrigued. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys
Keep us
updated on
posted.
that.
Keep us updated.
Yeah,
Always
yeah.
fascinating, right? It works. And who knows, maybe that wasn't even something you were focused on. Yeah,
No, not really.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Amazing. Keep us posted, please, Dina.
Will do.
Omneya, go ahead.
Yes, hi
Hello.
Dana. Hi everyone. Dana, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can.
Yeah. I'm planning to finish the 1 month.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel good already. I was asking about the transitioning, and you already answered that. I just have a couple of questions. So for the avocado,
Hmm.
because I think I missed what you just said a minute ago about eating avocados. Because I was eating avocado almost maybe one every other day. I
Yeah.
use it, I mash it to use it as a dressing for the salad. Is this okay, or we should limit the amount of avocados we're eating
No,
so
I
at
mean,
least I could finish the remaining days?
no, if this is what you've done up until now already and you're feeling good, that's okay. Don't forget that avocados are fruits. They technically are
Yeah.
fruits. So if that's what you've been doing and you want to keep that in, no problem. Those of you who haven't been doing that and you want to do that, then you can bring in the avocado in that last meal at the end of the day with the vegetables.
Okay. But if I want to finish, I've been integrating some like lettuce, tomatoes, and cucumbers, and eating one potato or two during the day. If I want to transition, I will still do like the whole day fruits again and smoothies, and then the last meal only you said it's the vegetables with the soup or the vegetables with salad, like that, right?
Yeah, keep it for the last meal. So keep it all
Like,
fruit-based the whole day and keep that one meal with potatoes, salad, or soup or cooked vegetables at the end of the day.
okay, last question. Can I start taking my supplements? Because when I asked you before, you said we don't need to take the supplements. I take for my thyroid, so mainly the CMOS, what is it called? The other one. I take zinc,
Mm.
selenium. I stopped them when you told me to that we don't need them now. Shall
Yeah.
I continue to take them now,
No,
or
you don't really need them.
I feel they're helping. I don't know.
No, keep going.
So I shouldn't take them anymore, at
No,
least for now. Yeah.
keep them out for now. Yeah, keep them out for now.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay. All right.
Thanks, Dana.
Welcome. Basma, what if we're not feeling the benefits of the fruit detox? I felt much better by day 19 on the liver detox. Why is that? Was it the specific fruits and vegetables on that detox that worked on the liver to help us heal? I'd like to stay on fruit detox, but it's not working for me. I think I'm not feeling vibrant. I'm not feeling like I have less brain fog either, unfortunately. So like I said, there's no way to know how long it will take before you feel anything. Okay. Day 19 is on a fruit detox. Okay. And I don't know coming into this, Yabesma, how long it's been that you were not sort of living a detox lifestyle, or how long it's been where you were, how long or how much you were incorporating any of the other inflammatory foods. It could be that you need to eat more because this doesn't work if you're not eating enough. So if you're not eating enough of, like the prescription of the fruits. So it could be that it's time for you to tweak it a little bit. In the liver detox, we do, obviously, the broccoli is very much targeted towards the liver, the broccoli, the asparagus, the Brussels sprouts. So potentially they might be a little bit more potent in terms of speed, but I wouldn't rule that out as the only reason you're not feeling anything just yet. We would need to get really, really specific on how long it's been since your last detox, how much you're eating every single day. And I think when it comes to this, when we see a lag like this, we really do need to look at quantities. Yeah. And also for a lot of people, day 19 is not a long time. It's not enough time yet. Remember, there are people who do this for 6 months and 7 months before they start to feel anything. So that could be something else. Besma, if you want to message me privately so we can have a more one-on-one conversation, we can do that. Dina, I'm still taking my vitamin D. Shall I stop? How is the sunshine situation? Anybody who's got access to sunshine, and that's almost everybody here who's in Egypt, should not be taking vitamin D. And people in Dubai do not need vitamin D. So, yeah, Dina, I know where you are, there's no sun. So I would keep it for you because there is no sunshine. House added spirulina to one of my smoothies. Yes, that's okay. Nihed, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Dana.
Hello.
I just wanted to ask you, Dana, why specifically should we eat the vegetables as a last meal instead of in the middle of? I ate my potatoes for lunch because that made me full enough to be able to wait for 2 or 3 hours to have some fruits before I went to sleep. So why are you specifically having?
What time was your lunch?
Oh, usually I would, yeah, I have my smoothie in the morning around about 8, and then I have a snack about at 12 o'clock, and I come home round about 2:30 or 3 o'clock. That's when I have my lunch, 3 o'clock.
Okay, that's not too bad. The only thing,
Mm.
sometimes, and you would feel, and then when do you have the last fruit?
Yeah, I 6:30, 7 o'clock by maximum.
The only reason why, I mean, it's not like horrible thing to do. Khalis, it's perfectly fine. The only thing is sometimes we worry that when you're eating all raw and all fruits, okay, and then you have a cooked meal and then you follow it with some fruits. Sometimes, you know how we say don't mix fruits generally really with anything else except fruits.
Yeah.
If it's at night and let's say your body's still digesting that meal and digestion just does slow down in the evening, there might be a fermentation issue.
Okay.
That's it. But you would feel it. You're going to feel it. You would get a headache. You might get constipation. You might get like acid reflux. You would feel it.
Okay. Okay.
So just pay attention to that.
Okay.
But when
Thank you.
you have that last meal at 6, that's it. There's no opportunity to eat anything else. The body just will digest that last meal of just vegetables, and you lessen the chances of any fermentation.
Okay. I got it. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Rania, go ahead.
Hi, I just wanted to ask you, when you were saying about basma, the quantity, do you mean that we need to eat more fruit to feel the detox effect?
Yeah,
Or
if you don't eat enough, and because this is when I first went through this process, it was at some point you get tired of eating the fruits, and then at some point, because they're so nutrient dense, you actually don't need to eat a lot to feel full. So it's very easy to fall into the trap of eating just a little bit, like a little bowl of fruits every few hours, not feeling hungry. because they really go in and feed your cells. But that little bowl of fruits is not going to fulfill the gap that's needed in terms of nutrients and antioxidants and healing properties to go in and fix whatever is wrong with you. So you do need
Okay.
like a medicinal dose of the fruits in order for it to work.
And when you say, because a lot of the times you were saying mono, like when you eat just one fruit, is it better to have one fruit at a time than to make? I know it's good in all cases, but is
Yeah.
it better for healing to have one fruit on its own and not mixing them?
You mean at a time or
Yeah.
a day?
No, no, no. I mean at a time, at a meal.
I would only recommend that if there's something, if your digestive system is not able to digest the different mix of fruits together, right?
Okay.
Definitely
Okay.
people will do mono detoxing, will eat just bananas for a month. That's it, nothing else, or even just potatoes, believe it or not, for a month.
Mm,
The 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 simpler you can make the digestive process for your body,
mm,
and the way you do that is by eating fewer types of food
mm.
or pre-digested, so like in soup
Juice.
or juices or smoothies.
Hmm.
So the simpler that you can make it for your body to focus on just absorption, and
Mm.
obviously, when all it has to do is break down and absorb a banana versus a fruit salad, theoretically, right? There's nothing wrong with a fruit salad.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm,
Theoretically, then that speeds up the healing because the body is working less at digestion, more at absorption, and the more it works at absorption, then that means the more you're absorbing the healing properties of the food. So the
okay.
simpler you make it, again, that's another level of detoxing, right?
Mm, mm,
Mono
mm,
meals. It's just another level. It's a deeper, much more intense level, but it really requires like you're just gonna do just bananas
mm.
for the whole, I mean, try it for one day, nothing but banana. You
Mm,
need to
mm,
eat like
mm,
20 bananas, 25 bananas minimum during the day, maybe 30. If you're doing
mm.
mono meals, yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
you're welcome. Ladies, who's iPhone 8? I don't remember, but you have your hand up. Go ahead. Hello. Anybody know who I remember who iPhone 8 is? Okay. Anybody else? Sandra, go ahead.
Hi.
Hi, Sandra.
Um, I just wanted to ask a few questions
Sure.
regarding. So this is day 5 or 4 for me
Okay.
after Easter.
Yep.
So my mind started to play games. Like because I've been doing this like the vegan for 55 days. Yes, the purpose was a different purpose. Like it wasn't a detox. It
Yeah.
was more spiritual, but at the end, I did have, like my body went through some of the symptoms already.
Okay.
I didn't have, like, for example, constipation. One time I ate popcorn and then I started to have runny nose. So already felt getting better. So
Okay.
now my mind is like, I really want to do this for
Mm.
like a month or more, but then I feel like you guys are already stopping. And then if I do this for a month or so, and then it would be another so it would be another, like another time for when the church will start fasting again for another
Okay.
one. So
Okay.
I feel like, like I'm bridging all of them together. So it's like I have mixed feeling about that.
Right.
That's one thing. And on a little,
Let's take it one at a time. So what so I remember when you were fasting, you were I gave you some recommendations about how to do it sort of more fruit-based, vegetable-based. Did you do it that way or did you
yes,
do it so it was mostly just fruits and vegetables your fast
yes.
versus the lentils and the fool and all of this,
No,
right?
no, and I don't drink coffee or tea or anything. So it was just fruits and vegetables. Maybe the quantities are not as much as you
Okay.
mentioned in the document.
Okay.
Now I realized that, but I mean, more or less, it was just fruits and vegetables. Yes.
So you've already basically done this.
Yes. But not fruits only. So I did the mix already.
Did the mix. Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, we're not stopping by any means. So don't let that play tricks on you, right? Nobody's stopping, okay? And some ladies, I know Rania just started recently also, Rania Hagras. So I only started a week ago when I came back from my trip. So we're all in like sort of different phases. Nobody's stopping, okay? So that's not a reason. I'm just thinking that if you've more or less done it, and you did a full 55 days of just fruits and vegetables,
Yes.
I mean, that's almost 2 months, right?
Yes. But again, because I had the bread
Hmm.
and the fries. This is okay, but occasionally, not on daily basis.
Yeah.
So my cycle, I mean, it wasn't getting better.
Hmm.
It was still mixed. Like, I mean, like, yeah, it was interrupted and it was all over the place. But that's the only thing that remained unsolved for me even after all this time.
Okay. All right. So it might be that you just need that last push of just a deeper fruit detox, maybe with juices and stuff to get you to that next level to balance that.
Okay.
So what is your question then for me? Exactly.
No, I was saying that my mind is playing tricks on two things. One is that I feel like, like I'm trying, like, I'm trying to do it before you guys are done. And the other thing is like, or should I just, let it go because soon, not soon, after 50 days,
Yeah.
we would
Doing
start
it again.
another one again.
Well, I know, and with you, I also know that there's quantities concern and
Yes, that's still
concern
an issue.
with going for many hours without any food. So is that still an issue?
Yes, still
Okay.
an issue. And even with the fruits, like I saw the pictures of like the ladies, it's like, oh, this is really good. And then you say, no, not enough. I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
And then, so I have this issue still with the quantities and because I'm doing less, but I'm eating more frequent. Like, so
Okay.
every hour I'm hungry,
Okay.
every hour.
Okay. Okay. So
So
that
then I'll
for
start again.
you, that's a really, really good start. Okay.
Okay.
That if you eat smaller but every hour, okay, then do that. Okay, because there is in terms of we could have a deficiency in terms of quantity generally, if someone's not getting enough nutrients, but also a deficiency could happen over time where the body is just, you might be getting nutrients, you're just not getting, the body's not getting them at regular intervals when it needs it. So this is
Yeah.
a specific concern for you. So this is what I would say. If you do nothing between now and the next 50 days when the next fast starts, then focus on regular intervals for you. The
Okay.
type of food might not change as much. What we need for you is the regular infusion,
Okay.
consistent infusion for you of the foods.
Okay.
Okay.
The other thing is the skin, like I'm developing like skin irritation and never had this, but the dandruff as well. Like this is new for me.
Okay. So dandruff, when we see, flaking of the scalp, this
Yeah.
is the top of your body. This is everything that comes through the skin is toxicity being pushed out through the skin. So what happens is that like the highest level, when the body gets literally uh filled up with toxins up until here, that we start to see dandruff coming out. But you've been detoxing. If somebody's not detoxing and they're eating all the inflammatory foods and we see dandruff, it means their body has literally filled to the rim with toxins. It's reaching the highest part of their body and eliminating through their scalp. But because you have been detoxing, this is a detox. Like this is your body this is your body purging. Okay.
Okay.
So that's a good sign for you because we know that you've intentionally been detoxing to clear your body. It can be uncomfortable, it can be unsightly. So again, depending on the water, that could also have an effect. The water, the quality of water where you are, can make that worse, can make it more difficult for the skin to just finally eliminate it and get rid of it. If it's itching, if it's bothering you, I would say then just at night, put just a little bit of coconut oil just to soothe the itching, and it might also speed up the flaking and getting rid of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Last thing is just again, that's a mind thing. It's just I'm getting like discouraged a little bit, like like you're doing all this effort and I love it. Like I'm loving the process and the journey. But then, like once you start, like as you said, it's not a matter of when, like if, when we start to fall off,
Yeah.
it's just, like your body goes back very quickly, like to having like this, like my cycle will go off again and things will go bad again, but it takes so much time to get rid of, and then how easy it is to fall back, I'm just a little bit discouraged in that part.
I want you to reframe that, because the trap that a lot of people fall into is when they start to backtrack, they don't feel anything. And so it's easy to say, oh, well, you know what? I reintroduced coffee and I feel great and nothing's happening. Let me have another cup of coffee tomorrow and the day after and the day after. And they do that for a month before the body reacts.
Mm.
And who knows what else they might have brought in also along the way. What's happening with you is actually amazing, that your body's having such a quick reaction. This is a blessing.
Okay.
Because you don't want to sort of be blindsided by something and think that something is working for you, only to wake up a month later or maybe 6 weeks to 2 months later and realize all of these symptoms, and it will seem like they're coming out of the blue, but it could be as simple as I reintroduced coffee every single day for the past 6 weeks.
Mm.
So this is actually, if this is happening, and I know this happens to people, and they're like, all it took is one meal, and then I woke up the next day and my joints were hurting and everything was bad and my face broke out. This is a blessing. A body
Mm.
that reacts that quickly, this is not a broken body. In fact, your body has become so fine-tuned that it's gonna respond. Remember, we say the body's always responding. Your response rate is very high and very quick to bring
Okay.
your attention to it very quickly, versus somebody who is, taken along for a ride thinking they're okay. Let me introduce a little bit of this, let me introduce a little bit of that, and seeing nothing
Okay.
until it gets really, really serious.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Delia, it's you.
Hi, yes, it was me.
Hi.
Hi, Dana. Hi, ladies. Yes, it was me. I'm sorry. I was trying to unmute myself but couldn't, and it's not even an iPhone 8, so I'm sorry about that.
It's okay.
So Dana, I didn't have any symptoms other than the headaches for the first 3 days for stopping coffee, but
Okay.
I didn't have any symptoms. I just go to the toilet a lot. So
Good.
that's it. And the only things I had are still there. It's melasma, okay,
Mm.
but I've had it for a long time,
Yeah.
and it's sacroiliitis.
Okay. So, is that anything else?
No, that's it.
So melasma, I had melasma. It will take up to 6 months for that to go away. And depending on what you're using topically, that might either slow it down, or if you were using something and you stopped it, then what's going to happen is it's going to get worse before it gets better. So whatever, if you weren't using something natural, regular topical,
I
whatever.
was using the brand that you suggested, but then when it didn't work for a long time, I went to a doctor and she suggested I take things. It got better, but then I stopped, so it flared again. I'm not sure what to do. I was hoping the detox would help, but it's not so far.
No, it's not going to help in just, are you also like around day 19? Day
Yes,
18?
maybe even more. I started 2 days
Yeah.
earlier.
It's not. It took 6 months for mine to go away. 6 months. 6 months of, and I wasn't deep detoxing. So maybe with deep detoxing plus the oil, it would have taken less. But I was just clean eating, pure clean eating, fruits, vegetables, and mostly fish at the time. Plus the oil, it took a full 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try
Okay.
that. And what
And
about
what is the other thing? Can you put it in the chat for me? I don't think I know what that
the
is.
sacroiliitis?
Yeah,
So it's
I'm gonna have to look that up, but I need to know like where, which part of your body.
here.
Hi, 1 second. 1 second. Delia, do you want me to look this up for you now, or can I look it up and get back to you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Let me just save it just so I can. But I mean, just by the name, anything that ends in itis, anything.
Inflammation.
Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily need to know, but I will, like what part of the body it belongs to.
It's
But
just
anytime.
lower back. It's just below the lower back.
Okay. Inflammation. And that's also going to take time. But let me look it up and see specifically what it is. Rania, the oil for the melasma. Tag me in the group, Rania, or message me. It's a Living Libations oil. Got rid of my melasma. I had two brown patches like this on both of my cheeks that I always used to cover up with foundation, you name it. 6 months this is when I first became a health coach. This was 12 years ago. 6 months of clean eating and this oil got rid of it.
Dana, can you just please share with me as well to make sure I'm putting the same one?
Can you tag me in the group or message me,
Sure. Okay.
please?
And Dana, sorry, last question. So I'm planning to do juicing now.
Yes, I
Okay.
saw that. I saw your message quickly right before I got on the call.
So I have different options because I'm getting from a company because I don't have time to do all the juices.
Yeah.
So I do have the option of fruits only or
Mm.
fruits and veggies. So I didn't know what to choose. So this is why I was asking
Yeah,
you.
I would recommend not just because it's juice. You've heard me talk about Jason Vale. You guys have seen his movie. He does. I don't know if he delivers where you are, Delhi. I don't know if he delivers just in London
Yes.
or all over the UK. But just because I've done his 28-day juice cleanse and I can, tell you that it's brilliant. He does a mix of fruits and vegetables. If you can get that delivered to you, that's what I would go for.
I've done his before and I've tried this company before. It's almost the same.
Okay, then yeah, then go ahead. Yeah, it doesn't need to be fruits only. I mean, I'll leave that up to you if you whatever you prefer. If you're doing it anyway, you can try, experiment. If you're gonna do this anyway, I would do maybe 3 days of the fruits, 4 days of the fruits, see how you feel. I don't know if they give you the option to alternate 1 day like this, 1 day like this, but you can't do it wrong because already just the fact that you're juicing, this is another very deep level of detox. It's not really going to be that much of a game changer if you're doing fruits only or fruits and vegetables mixed.
Okay, and for the melasma, is there any specific fruit or vegetable that helps for the skin problems in general?
They all do. They're all incredible for the skin. Melasma is what the reason melasma happens is because it's a type of dermatoxin, which is when the liver is overloaded. It has nothing to do with the sun, nothing to do with the exposure to the sun, it has nothing to do with that. It is because the liver cannot process and filter toxins efficiently that it starts to do it through the skin. And one of the ways it does it is through discoloration, pigmentation, like melasma. So, and that happens when the liver is overloaded with all the inflammatory foods. So it takes time and that's why you might see it get worse before it gets better because the liver has to release all the backed up toxins first before it starts to function efficiently, where it doesn't have to eliminate toxins through the skin anymore. And it does that with dandruff, melasma, acne, pimples, rashes, eczema, psoriasis, all the skin conditions. So you need to be patient with it. That's all. You're eating all the fruits and vegetables that help regenerate the liver. And then they also go straight to the skin to give you the vibrancy, the glow. They will do that. But eliminating the melasma specifically, and that's why a lot of people just give up when they're trying with melasma and acne, I have to say. Everybody gives up sort of at the point right before the breakthrough happens, like right before they start to see the results. because it can be very frustrating because it does take time.
Okay. Thank you. And it's okay that I didn't have any symptoms. It's not a sign that I'm doing anything wrong.
No, I mean, you said you're going to the bathroom a lot, so that means your body's eliminating that way. I mean, how many times are you going?
Um, almost to 3 times, sometimes 4 times a day. So
Okay. So the normal, believe it or not, everybody should be going, number two, everybody should be pooping 3 times. That is the normal. So what you're doing is you're recalibrating. Anything more than that, and it's very loose, then that is your detox symptom. So if it's more on the loose side, then you know the body's eliminating, it's still taking time to get rid of toxins. And that would also explain why the melasma is taking time. Your body still has a lot of backlog to get rid of, but it's not something to worry about.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Sandra, when we go to the bathroom frequently, is it a good sign that the body is healed? Yes. Yes. If you're going a lot, like 3 times is the average, believe it or not, I'll put the poop infographic back up on the group just so you can see the types. If it's the right type and you're going 3 times a day, that's what it should be. If it's more than 3 times and it's very loose, that means the body's still healing, it's still eliminating. Dina, yeah, still eliminating. As frequent as peeing, actually, yeah, that's a lot of elimination. Nihed, if we juice only, how many times can we have a juice? You need a minimum of 4 to 5 juices a day, Nihed, if you're juicing only. You can do more than that, but your minimum is 500 liters 4 to 5 times a day. Dina, go ahead.
Hi, Dana.
Hello.
Hi, ladies. I'm just worried a bit of my water intake. So in between the juices, the smoothie, the herbal teas, and the fruits themselves, I find myself drinking water only when I'm exercising.
Yeah. And that's
So
normal.
that's the only thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're getting all your hydration from fruits now, all of it. And the hydration from fruits is 100 times superior to any regular water that you'll be drinking. So you could actually not need to drink any water at all when you're doing a fruit detox because it's all the fruits are at least 80% water, all of them. So,
Okay.
and the hydration in fruits contains all of your healing. So the hydration in fruits contains the vitamins, it contains the minerals, it contains the enzymes, like all of those healing properties are in the water in the fruits. So there is no amount of regular water that you could be drinking on a regular basis that will have nearly the impact on your hydration as all the fruits that you're eating. So don't worry about this.
Okay. So the other thing is that although my skin feels better, but I still feel that it's, تقشر كده شوية.
That's a detox sign.
Like it's flaking.
Yeah, that's a detox sign.
Oh, okay.
That's a sign of the body releasing toxins to the skin. Flaking, dandruff, itching, rashes, pimples, anything it's coming through. And then, of course, also depends on what are you talking about and what are you taking or using in terms of skincare.
Pretty much oils.
Okay, if they're all natural, then that's okay. But if you are still using anything conventional, then the body is gonna have to get rid of those. Your body is in detox mode, elimination mode. So conventional products clog the skin. The skin can't breathe, and so at some point, it's going to have the reverse effect of pushing out what has been trapped inside.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Otherwise, I'm doing very well. I actually love it.
Wonderful. Amazing.
Yeah. Messed up in the weekend because our trip. So
Yeah.
we went to one German town here in Texas, and it's a German heritage. So of course I had to eat the schnitzel, and I had a burger one night, and but I'm back into fruits today. I was actually looking forward for it.
So how did your body have a reaction to those? How did you feel?
My stomach was always like grumbling and some gases and a bit of a stomach ache. yesterday I allowed myself one coffee, so I didn't sleep until 1 a.m. because it's been 3 weeks that I haven't had any caffeinated drink. So of course I stayed up until 1 a.m. But well, I allowed myself this weekend, and then I'm back on track today. So
it's all feedback, it's all data, and like I was telling Sandra, when your body reacts quickly, this is a great sign. And it's great information and feedback for you to know exactly how to get yourself back to what works better for you.
yeah, thank you.
Amira, go ahead.
Hi, Dana. Hi, ladies. I want to ask, I've done 2 weeks of the fruit, and then I'm like, I need my salad, I need my veggies.
Okay.
Okay. So I have raw salad. I have a big bowl of raw salad, like crunchy. I like crunchy salad.
Okay.
And then my main meal would be again the potatoes or a soup.
Okay.
So towards the end of the yes, and then one night I made this, the vegetable broth, and I made the zucchini noodles. But then I think I started being very gassy and very bloated. Okay. And then I had like diarrhea. So I didn't know, like where did I go wrong? And because I thought it's still veggies and still, so I want to ask, would the vegetables sorry, the fruits in general, would they cause bloating? Because many people talk about that. Or is it again toxins coming out or the body purging, as you say?
Always the body purging. Fruits and vegetables are, remember, gut scrubbers. That's what they do. So you can get
Okay.
bloated from the fruits. You can get even an apple can do it. Berries can, any fruits that you're eating can do that. But they tend to be a little bit less. The bloating tends to be a little bit less intense. The raw vegetables. So raw vegetables are very,
Okay.
very they're just more hardworking, let's put it that way, in terms of the gut scrubbing aspect. And they're, for some people, a lot harder to break down. Fruits are sort of a little bit less antagonistic, but anytime you experience diarrhea, anytime,
Yeah.
I wouldn't, while you're in detox mode, definitely don't worry about it. If you're not in detox mode also and you get diarrhea, don't worry about it, because that's one of the ways the body is it just gets rid of what's not working, right? So people like taught to be afraid of things like that. Diarrhea is nothing more than the body saying, oh, this needs to get out now. This is not working, it needs to get out now. Or we're detoxing and we've collected a whole bunch of toxins, we've scrubbed it all out, and they need to leave now. So nothing to worry about diarrhea. It's like coughing, it's like a runny nose, it's like vomiting, like the body knows. It's got different pathways for elimination. Diarrhea is one of them.
I also want to ask about sesame seeds. Would they fit into if I introduce the vegetables or no sesame seeds?
Right now, no seeds, even the good seeds like sesame seeds, nothing like that. Fruits, vegetables only.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Amal, what if I'm going only once? What should I do to increase it? If you're only going once, I would say, is it comfortable or constipated, Amal? And is this your usual, or did it increase? Where is Amal? There she is. Let me know. You might need to do more if it's only once. If it's not doing, if you're eating enough, as I told you what you need to do, then I would do it in the evenings. I would do castor oil on your abdominal area at bedtime. Don't wash it off. Massage castor oil into your liver area, into your entire abdominal area. Put on a t-shirt that you won't care if it gets smothered in castor oil. Pat it down and go to sleep and do that every single night. Sometimes we just need a deeper. Castor oil is very good at going into the liver and releasing up, like if there's literally like a clog, like a bottleneck, sort of, to release that and to get things going. Sandra, are we discussing skincare today? We can, if you guys want to. It wasn't part of the plan, but if you guys have questions on skincare, we can do that. Sandra, I have another question about ADHD. You once mentioned that you can deal with that by changing the food, 100%. Does that mean clean eating or something deeper? It's like anything else, Sandra. You want to do, depends on the pace, right? The biggest triggers for ADHD are going to be the whole list of inflammatory foods. It's never going to be fruits, vegetables, and animal protein. So it depends on the speed that you want to detox and the intensity. But the biggest things that have to go are that list of inflammatory foods: the processed sugars, the bread, the pasta, the sodas, the caffeine, artificial foods, artificial dyes, medications, over medicating, the conventional products with all the chemicals. Those are the biggest things. Then when it comes to our whole foods, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, animal protein, any variation of that is going to help bring down the symptoms and reverse completely if you want. It's a personal choice how fast and how deep you want to do that. Dina, go ahead.
Yes, I have a quick question concerning, let's say when I'm doing the salad, can I add like some olive oil or balsamic vinegar or nothing?
Very little. We want to keep the fats to a very, 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 very minimum. So if you're already doing avocados, for example, right? You've already got
Yeah.
that really good fat in there. If and you want to add olive oil, I would say very, very little.
Okay. And the other thing is that I just noticed like recently in the last 2, 3 days that I'm starting to get night sweats again.
Mm.
Is there a specific reason you think?
That's your liver. That's a detox withdrawal symptom right now.
Okay. A lot of night sweats,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
okay.
getting rid of it. So it's going to eliminate it again through the skin, right? So
Yeah,
sweat
yeah, yeah.
skin. So the skin is a major detox organ. So whether that's a rash, eczema, sweating, night sweats, odors. So some of you might experience like body odor that's stinky. All of that is the liver detoxing.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Also, Sandra, ADHD is a lot of heavy metal that gets sort of stuck in the brain. So I would say if you want to speed that process up, then I would go more for berries, smoothies, yeah. If you want to speed it up in order to get rid of the heavy metals, and it takes a long time, then definitely you would do more fruits and vegetables and eliminate the animal protein. But it's not 100% necessary, but just to go faster. Nihed, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask you because I've been adding za'atar to my potatoes. Should I eliminate the za'atar أحسن؟
Uh,
زعتر
just
السوري ده اللي هو
just
تسبك
dry,
سكر.
the dry.
No, the za'atar اللي هو عامل زي الدقة كده you know the Syrian one.
And
It's
I
a
mean,
mix.
it comes dry, but you put
Yes.
olive oil on it, or you just
No,
dry?
without olive oil. I just sprinkle it over my potatoes.
Za'atar is mostly an herb. It's not sometimes they put little seeds in it, maybe
They
sesame.
could have sesame seeds. Yeah,
Yeah,
it has
yeah,
sesame seeds.
yeah. Ideally, no. I mean, if it was just the green, like that wouldn't be a problem. If it was just straight up, za'atar without the mix, or like thyme or oregano, that would be okay. Yeah, or rosemary.
Okay.
Yeah. Or any of the other herbs like coriander, parsley, that would be okay.
Okay.
Emma, my tummy is bloated as if I'm pregnant. Is it still a sign of detox? Yeah, as long as you've got all of this the bloating you get when you are detoxing on fruits and vegetables is relative to the amount of toxins that are pre-existing in your system. And so this also makes sense tied in, ML, with your low iron, right? So if your gut is not processing and it's not absorbing and it's not eliminating, right? That means it's completely backed up. So what happens when you eat the fruits and vegetables, they go in and they will literally attach themselves to all the bacteria and toxins and anything backlogged in there. And attach and then have to sort of drag them out of your system. This is what causes the bloating, that process. It's called die-off. So there's parasites and toxins and bugs and all sorts of things in there. And when you eat the fruits and the vegetables, they kill them and swoosh them out, vacuum them out. That process called die-off, that you feel that as bloating, as these toxins are being killed. So it's uncomfortable, but it's the fruits and vegetables don't go in and cause the bloating. They go in to clear a pre-existing condition, and you feel the process of clearing as bloating. So it's relative. The more bloating you have, as you're eating like this means the more that the fruits and vegetables are working, they're working harder. So again, the castor oil will help with this, ML. So do that in the evening. That will help with the bloating as well. It will help with the clear. And as long as you're very bloated, this is going to slow down elimination. And as long as you are having a hard time eliminating, this is going to slow down absorption. So this is going to slow down the process of healing your gut so that it can absorb all the nutrients that you need. So let's give it a little push with the castor oil. Dina, I forgot to ask about spasm in the colon. Is this pre-existing or is occurring now? Dina.
It's actually occurring now. Like I had it before,
Yeah.
but now I feel it like it's more than before.
Okay.
I have problems with my colon, but now it's like I feel it more.
And how long does it last?
Well, it's usually more during the night. Like I feel it more during the night, and then I wake up with it. And then once I start like eating and having my juices or the fruits and everything, it gets better. I feel it less, or maybe because I'm preoccupied with other things. I don't know. But anyway, my doctor is requesting a colonoscopy, so we're gonna see. But it was bothering me for a bit of time now.
Okay. If it just started with the detox, then this is also a symptom like the bloating, okay, but
Mm-hmm.
showing up in the colon area, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The toxins are being cleared out, the backed up bacteria is being cleared out, etc. And this could take some time for it to calm down. What I would do is, if it happens only at night, I would then keep track, like what are you actually eating last thing at night? I would also do the castor oil, massage it into your abdominal area at night to see if that doesn't help to relieve it a bit. So it needs,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, we'll try that. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Basma. How can we avoid the urge to have tomatoes, cucumbers, or potato at night or something savory? What foods do you recommend? So if you want to, Basma, then you don't have to avoid that. You can go ahead and just have that meal now. If you're finding yourself, you want to continue and this is becoming more of a challenge, don't resist it. Go ahead and have your tomatoes and cucumbers and potatoes for dinner between 5 and 7 p.m. and be done with it, okay? What do you mean what fruits do I recommend? Instead of that, I mean, if you have that urge, just go with it. So I wouldn't need to recommend a fruit instead. Dina reminded me, doctors here love asking for a colonoscopy after 50. I don't recommend any procedure unless you feel there is you feel severe discomfort or pain or something is wrong in your body, not just routine. And then you might also want to give yourself a chance, like when they ask for certain things, give yourself a month to 6 weeks of changing how you're eating to see if you still feel the pain or the discomfort that requires the procedure. But, everybody to each his own. This is what I personally do. So I don't just jump to, procedures or like standard anything. I basically don't go to doctors at all, unless there's an emergency. I don't want to have the vegetables at all. Oh, you don't want to have them. But is this causing like frustration for you, Besma? Is like causing like, is it going to get in the way of you continuing, is my question. Or maybe you just want to have them, sort of scratch the itch, go Go ahead and have the tomatoes and things one day, get it out of your system, and then move on. Because you're still detoxing if you're eating tomatoes and cucumbers, and especially like if it's raw. Colonoscopy is a preventative procedure like mammograms. It really shouldn't anything to do with them as part of the medical system. This goes back to how you believe medicine should work and how you believe your body should work. A mammogram is not really preventative. Number one, it's been proven to cause more breast cancer than it saves, and this has been proven over and over and over again. Number two, if you go and have a mammogram and it detects cancer, you haven't prevented it. It's there. Prevention means it's not there. So all it does is just detect something that's already there. So it all goes back to reframing what is needed. The medical system in the States, North America, Europe, is very much based on I mean, if you it also depends. Are you following the standard American, North American way of eating, or are you not? If you are, then I would say yes, because your body is eroding usually quite quickly, and they set it up that way, right? You eat all the crappy food, so then you need to go for all of the preventative, regular tests so they can detect the effects of all the crappy food that you're eating. So then they give you the medicine to manage the symptoms without telling you how to actually get to the root cause of what caused your symptoms to start with. So it's a much bigger conversation. When you're eating, clean, non-inflammatory foods that don't erode the body, don't cause inflammation in the body, then and you feel great, then there really is no reason. But again, this is a very personal thing. And is it something you feel like, I mean, this is a big part of why we do what we do, is to get you out of that fear, really. Like the consistent screening and testing is because you have a fear of something. You don't understand your body. You don't know what triggers the symptoms in your body. You haven't been empowered to do so. You've been made to feel like it's beyond your scope to understand how your body works. So you choose to do differently. You choose to empower yourself. You choose to not eat the things that break the body down, even if there's a genetic predisposition. This has 100% been proven that genetics are only triggered by your lifestyle. If you have the gene for cancer, Alzheimer's, high blood pressure, diabetes, whatever your family members have, there is no way you're going to get them unless you eat and drink and move and live in exactly the same way that you did. And if you don't, they're not going to manifest. There's no way. And I say this story many, many, many times. My mother and my father, between them, by age 52, had diabetes, high blood pressure, gallbladder issues, fibroids, heart condition. I don't have any of them. No signs of them. God willing, I'm not going to get any of that just because it's genetic. If I decide to go and eat and live the way my parents did from their 50s onto their old age, yeah, of course I will. It's not rocket science, as they say, right? It's not a mystery. There is direct cause and effect for every single condition. If you have a genetic predisposition, that's all it is a predisposition. It doesn't mean you're 100% going to get it. You will 100% get it if you create the environment for the genes to manifest. That's it. So coming out of this, and this is what I've personally chosen to do, is I remove myself from this system completely. I only rely on the medical system for, God forbid, emergencies. I haven't been to a doctor for any checkup in 10 years. And I'm not scared. I'm not worried. I don't, and also if I go to them, okay, worst case scenario, if they tell me you have cancer, I'm not going to take chemo. I'm not going to take radiation. I'm going to come home and I'm going to juice for a year. So this is very personal and everybody has to create their own belief system around it. But for me, the most important thing for me was to empower myself like this and remove the fear factor and remove the dependency on continuously outsourcing myself. And remember, guys, my father was a doctor, so I didn't grow up like this. I grew up very much in the system of, you have an itch, you run to the doctor. You have a cough, you run to the doctor. But I guess just by, because it's my profession, I'm in it more than your average person. You really only need to ever go to a doctor for an emergency. God forbid. Trauma, emergency, something life-threatening. Everything chronic, even if you have a genetic predisposition, every single one of those, if you choose, right? So if you don't choose, obviously that's a different story. If you choose, can be healed naturally on your own by yourself. Dina, but when you know you have the gene, then screening is necessary, I think. If you're worried, right? If you're worried, no, if that screening is going to take away your worry 100%. But if you're going to screen and you're worried and you're not doing anything about it, then you need to keep screening. But if you're being very active about it, the genes can be turned off. Again, it's been proven 100%. The genes, whatever genes you have inherited through actively changing how you eat and how you live, that gene can be turned off. There's a name for it. Epigenetics. I'll look it up and share it in the group. Can be turned off. So you need to do what feels right for you. You need to do what eliminates the fear factor for you. For me, was understanding every single response that my body gives me. And they've just become so clear, right? I don't get a 14-day period because I've been eating fruits and vegetables and being healthy. I get a 14-day period because I changed where I'm living. I changed countries for 7 weeks. I changed everything I'm eating. I changed how I'm sleeping. There was a huge emotional upheaval. Your average woman, if all of a sudden she gets a period for 14 days, she's gonna go to her gynecologist. Didn't even occur to me once. I knew I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna get back on what I need to do. I know how my body works, and it's done. It's fixed. Who knows what a gynecologist might have told me? Who knows what he might have given me? For me, I wouldn't have taken it anyway. But for most people who don't understand that in their body, there's a direct cause and effect for every single symptom, that's what ends up happening. Then you become dependent on this, and then you get more worried, and then you get more scared. And more importantly, you don't ever really heal. You don't get to the root cause. So find your niche here of what works for you in terms of what eliminates the fear factor for you and what empowers you the most when it comes to your body and your health. Sandra, can you explain the fermentation part again, please? So because fruits are all sugar, right? Remember we talked about food combining, like you can't put fruits with animal protein. That's the biggest one because they have different digestion times. So if you eat animal protein and then directly after you have an apple or an orange or any fruit, the animal protein requires 3 or 4 hours in your system to digest. And it stays there, the whole process. An apple or any fruit really only takes about 30 to 45 minutes in your digestive system, and then it's out. So if you add an apple to a process that's already started, and it's going to take 3 or 4 hours, the apple gets stuck. The fruit gets stuck with the animal protein, and it ferments because that sugar with the animal protein, it ferments. And that fermentation can cause headaches, fatigue, constipation. So technically, doesn't mean it will, because even with some people who have very strong digestive systems, this won't happen if they mix fruit and animal protein, but very few. So technically, this fermentation can happen with anything. So if you eat even a meal of potatoes, vegetables, you name it, and then afterwards you have a big bowl of fruits, because that's what we're doing, there's the risk of fermentation. Potentially. Bedtime. Good night, Anya. You're welcome. Any other questions, ladies? Dina, go ahead.
I just need an answer to a question I always get from my friends. You're eliminating protein. Your body is going to eat your muscles. So, your body is going to feed on your muscles. Where is your body going to get the protein if you stay one whole month or a couple of months on fruits only? And fruits are not very high on protein. So I need an answer because they always ask me this, like, oh my God, your body's going to eat your muscles. Like, oh, okay.
Muscles. I mean, because what we have these little, like, teeth inside that are just eating away at our
I
bodies.
don't know. It's
I
like
don't
your body's going to need the protein and it's going to feed on your muscles.
not going to feed on your muscles. No.
Yeah.
Actually, there is I'll put this. I think I had sent this explanation. Didn't I send this to you in a message, Gina? I think I sent it to you when you were asking me about protein. Was it to you? Hang on. That's the answer. I think I
No,
sent it to you. It's kind of a long-ish answer. Maybe it wasn't you.
no, it wasn't me.
Okay, I'll post it on the group.
Okay.
And you can sort of learn it and you can explain it to them. This is just one of those things. You know how there's just lots of things that you just sort of grow up with, for lack of a better explanation, and it's not necessarily not true. It doesn't make sense, right? Like the body, first of all, the body can never eat itself on its
Yeah.
own, right? Like just as a doesn't matter from what, just as a concept, right? The body will never destroy itself on any level. That's why the whole concept of autoimmune is also, completely obsolete, because the body will never attack itself. It's attacking something. It's trying to protect you from something, but not from itself, and never will it attack itself. So it can never sort of internally digest itself or break down itself. No, that only happens from, serious nutrient deficiencies, vitamin deficiencies. It doesn't happen because you decide not to eat protein for a month. It's very interesting to me how people never worry about, when you never eat fruits, and it's also interesting how people never ask you these questions if you're eating protein and junk food at the same time,
Yeah.
right? Nobody asks,
Yeah.
you're eating your protein and you're eating pizza on the weekends and eating pasta and eating ice cream and eating cakes and cookies and chips. Nobody's going to ask you, actually, how is this protein going to be absorbed? Because you could be eating protein, you could be eating all the best foods, but your body's not making use of it. Nobody asks that, right? But you go and
Yeah.
eat fruits and suddenly everybody's an expert. Let me put that on the group for you so you have a proper answer for them.
Okay, and I have another question. So, any recommendation for maybe a plant-based protein only for after strength exercise? Like I do strength exercises a couple of times a week.
Yeah.
That's what we all have to do at this age. So, any recommendation for that after those sessions, just to get a portion of amino acids to help the muscles, build themselves?
You don't technically also need that. That's also just one of those,
Okay.
But again, psychologically for yourself, I would do spinach, green peas, avocado, potatoes.
Okay.
Anyway, you can actually put, if you want to have a smoothie, like post-workout, and
Yeah.
throw in it a handful of spinach, a handful of fresh peas, half an avocado, you're covered.
Okay. Okay. And I just wanted to add a comment from my gynecologist, because I was telling him last year that I did the detox after I had this problem of the thickening of the lining and stuff like that. And then when I went to him, my gynecologist in Egypt, actually.
Yeah.
I told him I've detoxed because the lining shrunk again and it was normal at that time again. And so I was like, well, I did a detox. He said, well, those things work marvelously. for people who can do it. So he goes like, and I applaud you. I highly applaud you if you can really do that for yourself, because that's the best thing you can do.
Who's this
And
doctor?
he's a gynecologist.
Hey,
Exactly.
who's the guy?
Exactly. And that's why when I started spotting again during Ramadan, I was like, thank God I'm going into a detox. And now it's been almost 2 weeks without any spotting. So I guess he said you're getting some hormonal spikes that are causing this lining to thicken a bit, so you get those spotting, and then when your hormones are back to normal, it shrinks again to its normal. So I guess it's an up and down. He said it's going to happen every now and then. So but then when I started the fruit detox a couple of weeks ago, it completely stopped now.
Yeah, it will.
Although during all of the month of Ramadan, it was like every 3-4 days, just a mild spotting. I don't have a very thickened lining or anything, but it's there. I mean, and it stopped now.
Yeah. Your hormones, he's correct that it's the hormones, but what's causing the hormones to be,
of course,
right?
Of course, yeah.
And he's 100% correct in saying that people who can do it
exactly
are going to benefit. And that's the thing. Every single physical body, okay, can heal this way. There's no question about it. But not every human wants to do it. That's the only question. Do you want to do it? And are you willing to do what it takes to see the results? But is the body physically capable of healing? 100%. It's only whether you choose to or not. So I'm very, very, very happy that you have a doctor who supports this. I mean, we really need more of him. We need more doctors like this, 100%. Nihad, do you have another question?
Yes, I just wanted to ask, should we still keep away from oat milk and coconut milk in our smoothies?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. Thanks.
You're welcome. Any other questions for today, ladies? Next week we have The Prophet. Super short book. If you haven't read it, you can read it in one day. You can literally hang up and spend 2 hours tonight and finish it. That's our book for next week. And then the week after that, we start our next module on movement, which is the natural progression from once you've cleansed your body. The next level of health after that is to move your body. So that's what we'll be doing next. I have started to post some little infographics and things in the group as per some of your recommendations, maybe to help with motivation, to give you a little bit more of information. This week is an integration week. I haven't given you anything new, and I will be doing those. We only have 2 more months, so twice, 2 more times. I highly recommend that you use this time to go back and choose one thing. You know how I wrote in last week's module, choose one practice, one this week, because there's nothing new. You're just continuing with the fruit detox. Choose one practice from the previous models that really speaks to you, that you feel called, like this is potentially what I feel would serve me the most, and do that this week. So don't try and catch up on everything. Don't try and say, right, I'm going to do this week and I'm going to go through and the week 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, I've missed all these things. That's going to just put you into a spiral, into overwhelm, and you'll do nothing. So choose one. Give yourself maybe half an hour just to skim back through the modules. Choose the one practice that you feel is the right one for you right now, and just do that. One simple step forward this week. All right, ladies. And as usual, keep the questions coming, and I will see you in the group. All right? Thank you, ladies. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you all next week, inshallah.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Dana.
Dana.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye, ladies.